what's going on? This is John Fears. Welcome back to Fears Man 26. I'm in Olathe, Kansas with Steve Shiner. How are you doing, sir?
All right. How you doing, John?
It's a pleasure and an honor. And we are here because Steve is a owner of a Knight Rider car. He takes it around to conventions. He takes it around to kids at hospitals and stuff like that. I just want to welcome you to Fears Man 26. Say hello to the fans.
Hey, what's up, guys?
All righty. And I'm just going to ask you some straightforward questions.
Okay.
So I think the first question, Steve, would be, why on earth did you build the Knight Rider car in the first place?
Well, back when I was a kid, 10 years old, was the first time I seen Knight Rider. Fell in love with the car, the show, and just said someday I'm going to have that car. Bought the car when I was 20 years old, and after about a year of owning the 82 Trans Am, I discovered that you can purchase the replica parts from a guy who had an ad in the back of Pontiac magazine, Rob Louisel. And that's what kind of started it. I bought the catalog, saw all the parts, and then from there it was just had to have it, built the parts, or bought the parts, put it all in the car, and then over the years the parts and vendors have evolved to where now you can build a replica that's pretty close to what you saw, if not exact to what you saw in the show back in the 80s. Thanks to the DVDs that we have now, you can get good, really high quality detailed images and photos of what the car looked like back in the 80s. The vendors took it upon themselves to really up the game and replicate the parts to where they're like exact from what you saw in the show, and it just kind of went from there, and it's been an adventure the whole time.
Now, Steve, over the years, actually acquired a lot of props. Steve, what can you tell me about all these props?
Well, this is a replica steering wheel here. It's not the one that's in the car, obviously, but that's just a prop that I have.
Mm-hmm.
This is an actual AM radio that I had when I was a kid.
Now, when did you buy this as a kid? Like, how old were you?
I believe that was a gift given to me from my mom, actually, but I was probably, I don't know, 11 or 12, obviously. It was after Knight Rider came out. This I actually just bought recently. It's a working replica here, but it talks and, does some things that it did in the show.
Now, in the show, this is a replica form, guys. It looked exactly like this in the show, and in the show, he was probably just looking at blank pages, but when you buy it, you actually have a manual. It actually says stuff to how kit works. And then you got this mug in Vegas at a convention, correct?
That was from the first Knight Rider festival that they had in Las Vegas. I forget what year. So it was in 2009. The anniversary of the pilot episode of Knight Rider is why we went out there.
And also, when Steve went to the convention, each of the people, I guess, that owned a car got one of these more in-depth instruction manual.
This was actually from a show that we attended in LA for the 30th anniversary of Knight Rider, and any of the guests got this binder to use for whatever, and I just used it for memorabilia, photos, and autographs and stuff like that.
Very cool. And then, did they also give you this hat when you were at the convention?
Yep, that came with the package as well.
Okay. So, besides all this memorabilia, what else have you collected over the years?
Let's see. Gosh, I don't even know where to begin. I have long before DVDs, I have all the VHS recordings from NBC, and then even when they went into reruns, I have those recorded on VHS. Not that I even own a VCR anymore. I don't know why I keep them. But Knight Rider's
they're
on
vintage,
there,
they're classic.
So they're on there.
And you have the DVDs?
Have the DVDs. They also just released them on Blu-ray, but I haven't gotten those yet just because...
But that's on Steve's to-do list.
Somewhere down the line. But yeah, just memorabilia, like autographs and anything Knight Rider related to the Knight Rider lunchbox. There's a comforter set for your bed. You name it. I mean, playing cards, what do they call them, slot car racetracks.
Yep.
I have anything Knight Rider. I even got my son, there's a Knight Rider pedal car, there's a Knight Rider bike, Knight Rider big wheel.
Okay.
I have all those for my son, although he's outgrown them.
Very cool. Well, we can totally tell that Steve is a ultimate Knight Rider fan, but let's put him really to the test. I'm going to ask you some historical questions from the show, and
Okay.
we're just going to see how good Steve really is.
All right.
Okay. So Steve, before Michael Knight became the Michael Knight that we know, he was a police officer. What was his full name?
Okay, well, that's an easy one. Before Michael Knight became Michael Knight, his police officer, his name was Michael Arthur Long in the show, and then he got shot in the face, and then that's when they had to do the whole reconstructive surgery, give him a whole new identity, and then essentially he became Michael Knight.
Next question. A lot of people know what KITT stands for, but a lot of people don't. So elaborate on it. What does it mean?
Okay, well, KITT stands for the Knight Industry 2000, which
Okay.
was the actual car. Knight Industries built this futuristic, indestructible car with all these abilities and functions, and that was known as the Knight 2000, Knight Industries 2000. Well, along with that, they installed the onboard artificial intelligence computer software that could control and operate the car automatically. They nicknamed the personality of the artificial intelligence KITT, KITT. So technically, the artificial intelligence is separate from the car. The car is the Knight Industry 2000. They nicknamed the software KITT. Hence,
So the microprocessor is KITT, and the car is the Knight Industry
the
2000.
Knight Industry 2000.
Gotcha. See, not a lot of people would know that. Okay.
Unless they're an Uber Knight Rider nerd,
Like us.
like yours truly.
And I thought I was a nerd, and Steve is the ultimate. I appreciate this interview, sir.
No problem.
And I think one last question would be, out of all these experiences and thing, what can you take away from it? Like, is it the people, the fans, the memorabilia, the memories, or is it just all that? Just if you could sum up like this whole experience.
Well, for me, I mean, yeah, it's fun now that the car is built, it's fun to take it out and show it off at the car shows. It's fun to see people's reactions because it really is like meeting a celebrity, and to some degree, driving the car around, you feel a little bit of fame yourself, even though you had nothing to do with the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Other than replicating it. But for me, it was just personal want, desire. As a little kid, it was my dream. And then, coming into being a young adult, realizing that you could actually build something like this. I built it solely for me, but it's evolved into, sharing it with other people and everything. But I never built it with the intention of like winning trophies or showing it off. I mean, back when I built it, long before the internet and everything, I didn't know anybody else that had a Knight Rider replica. I only knew the person.
Now everybody's got them.
Now with the internet, there's I couldn't even put a number on how many people, but on Facebook and all the websites out there, there's people all over the world that are building these replicas. And I'd say probably in the last 5-6 years, the vendors that are out there now have really like upped the bar, and you can really replicate one of these cars better than they were ever produced in the show. And with today's technologies and advancements with computer and gadgetries, it's possible to have the car do a lot of what you saw it do in the show, minus turbo boosting through walls and jumping over things and stuff like that. But the integrated computer software and programs that they used in the show, it's totally possible today, like your GPS mapping, video conferencing, FaceTime, and stuff like that. Now it's all possible. There's even people that have taken the replica building to the next level, where they have actuators on the car, voice recognition software, simulated artificial intelligence, where you can talk to the car, or the car will actually talk back to you.
Wow.
It's if you're into that kind of thing, I would say with today's technologies, you're really not limited to making the car do anything that it did in the show. And I'd even be willing to bet in the next 15 to 20 years, someone's going to have one that drives itself.
Or maybe if you push a button, something will shoot out like
something will.
I remember one time in the show, or a couple times in the show, you'd push it and oil would come out and like slick the bad guys up.
Yeah, there's guys that have.
I'm sure they would do that too.
Yep, there's guys with smoke screen, oil slick.
That's awesome.
like I said, with today's technologies and time and money, you're not really limited to what you can
Endless.
do. It's just how far you really
Want to take it.
want to take it.
Well, I appreciate the interview, and real quick, I forgot to ask this in the interview, but before we go, if they wanted to check out all your Knight Rider stuff, any social media sites, where would they go to check you out?
Well, I post a lot of stuff on my website for business, thedentteam.net.
Okay.
You can check it out there. Also on Facebook, you can go to the Dent Team, Olathe, Kansas. I post a lot of pictures,
Okay.
you know, and events that I do. Or you can friend me on Facebook, Steve Shiner.
Okay.
I post a lot of stuff there, but
And if the fans also wanted to go to, because I heard there's just conventions just solely for Knight Riders, what kind of conventions and where would they go to check out those conventions at?
well, there's one big one in Las Vegas we're actually getting ready to go to. That's called the Las Vegas Car Stars event, and that's on the Fremont Street Experience in Las Vegas. Now that started as a Knight Rider festival.
And they probably have
years ago,
they
but-
probably have a website, correct?
Yeah, Las Vegas Car Stars, Paul Casey Productions.
Be sure to check that out, guys.
But then there's other shows throughout the year. I know there's one down south in, I believe, I want to say Georgia.
Okay.
It's eluding me the name of it right now.
That's all right. Well, I appreciate it. Well, be sure to check out this interview, guys, at Fearsman 26. And as always, I'll see you later. Alligator.